Good Monday morning. Mark Konlock, Director of Horticulture here at Green Bay Botanical Garden. Welcoming you to the beautiful garden here at Green Bay. Guess what we're doing today? We are planting our spring containers. So I wanted to give you all some tips on what we do here at Green Bay Botanical Garden and give you some ideas on what you can do in your own yard, whether it's a big yard or small yard. Or the beautiful thing about containers is even a small space, you can add some flower power and color to your area. So here we have a cool wave petunia. These ones are draping, so they're really nice for actually like spillers, because spillers and the thrillers, the tall things, are a little hard to sometimes get in a spring container. But here we have this raspberry swirl cool wave, and then we have some different kales here, and I'm going to add a little something to that eventually, but I want to show you over here the same thing I'm doing. So whether you have like that little pot or a giant pot, you can use all kinds of cool plants. So again, the cool wave is being used here, and you can see what I'm doing, and I'll show you again. Like, I usually lay on the outside, if it's a draper or spiller, a lot of the plants, because we want this guy to spill over the side. So that is what I'm doing here, but I want to show you something quick. So another thing you're doing in the springtime is maybe doing a little pruning, a little last minute pruning before things start to leaf out. And we did some pruning in the winter and saved or salvaged, or I like to call it scavenging, some of our stick material. So we have a yellow twig dogwood. Over there I have some red twig dogwood. And then we even have some birch branches. So whatever you think looks cool, think about saving some of that for your spring container, because eventually, once I plant this and maybe some kale in there for being my middle guy, my filler, I'm going to figure out how many of these sticks I want to put in here to be my thriller. So it actually gives me some height in the spring container, which is hard to do. And this contrasts with the purple and the yellow contrast, so that's in the kind of a cool color combination. And then what else? What else? Oh yeah, the other thing is, usually you want your, thriller to be, say, 2/3 the height of the pot, or 1/3, and be in proportion, kind of 2/3, 1/3 plant, or the other direction, 2/3, 1/3. This is a little bit of a tall pot, so this will probably end up just being half and half-ish, because I'm right up against this light as well, or a third maybe. But I like to get it a little taller, like I said, to kind of keep it in scale. So you don't really have to follow a set rule, but just think about the scale of it when you're adding your sticks. And don't be too skimpy with them. Do skimpy and wimpy. You want to have some stick power in there to get a mass of color from your sticks. So don't have it just be an afterthought. Think about how you're going to add that stick power. Alright, a couple more ideas for laying out the container. We already talked about the edge over here. So now I'm going to kind of deconstruct this one to show you a couple ideas. So one way to lay out your container is kind of in a diamond shape, where you'd have, say, here we have this Antique Shades pansy here, really cool looking color. And then we have Candy Shower Snapdragon. So this is another plant that can take cool temperatures. We're supposed to have some cooler temperatures, but not below freezing, really, in this week at least. But remember, all these plants you put in your spring container, think about that they can take cold, because then you don't have to worry about covering them. So the pansies, the snapdragons, the lettuce, the kale, Swiss chard. Over here we have some lobelia, not lobelia, alyssum, lobularia, alyssum. So a lot of cool things that can take it, so that you don't have to worry about it being cold anymore. You can just like let it be beautiful and not have to worry. So the diamond shape, I like to do that. And then I fill in with the other plants. So I would have my diamond on my outside of my Antique Shades, and then I would put my Candy Showers in between to be the spiller. And then in this container I have my filler being this really nice lettuce here. So that'll get a bit taller, so that'll add up here to give me some height and kind of drift down. And one thing, I just happened to have a couple red sticks on hand, and I was like, oh, actually, that would be pretty nice, because it would add a little bit more color to the subdued color palette I have here, and it works with the warm color scheme I have going on with the oranges, the Antique Shades, and even this kind of burnt-looking lettuce here. So I was like, I might have to go scavenge me some more dogwood, which means another big job, unfortunately. But it really makes it to me. The other idea, other thing, is if you have a smaller container, or not as much space, or don't want to buy as many plants, you could also do this in a diamond form. So that's just 3 of them. Not diamond, triangle. My bad, don't know my geometry. That's the diamond with 4, the triangle with 3. So in this one, I'm using the lettuce actually in between, and then I use the same lettuce as the thriller or the middle guy again. So sometimes with spring you don't have to be quite as into the thriller, filler, spiller because you have a limited palette of materials that you can use, and really you just want some color and texture. The other great thing is so many of these cool season crops are actually edible. So the lettuce, the kale, the Swiss chard, you could actually eat them later on when you decommission your container for summer. You can just nibble as you are working and stay healthy and not hungry. The other thing I have is some birch sticks. So I was thinking, this might actually work nice in this color combination. Is a more subdued kind of palette, a little more sophisticated, shall we say, than just the yellow and red dogwood sticks. So think about the other sticks, like I said before. Finally, a couple other random thoughts. So here, guess what? I had too many plants. We grew too many plants, and a lot of times we kind of like grow them in a flat of things, and you only need so many in the containers. You can see they don't, require a lot to fill it up. So when I have extras, I like to kind of spill them into the bed. Sometimes I'll do it right next to the container if I like the look of it, or sometimes I'll use it in a different area to fill in some gaps where we don't have bulbs and things like that. So you can do the same thing in your own place. If you buy too many plants, think about kind of incorporating them into your landscape for a little shot of color in the ground. Then there was something else I was going to share, but I forgot what it was. Anyway, this viola bunny ears, this is a really cool little pansy viola that we picked out. And think about color echoing, so it has that white in there. And then we have this Candy Showers white trailing snapdragon that's come out of flower right now, but it'll come back. And that'll be cascading down, so it'll be slight color echo. Not slight, I guess it's complete color echo with this little guy here. Other cool thing, this beautiful yellow blue swirl pansy. One other thing about these guys is they smell. They're amazingly fragrant and gorgeous. So not only do you get the color and the flower power, but you have a beautiful fragrance. And I like to sometimes shock it up with like a acid green kind of looking lettuce here to give it a little more pizzazz. And just two things together makes a big difference in a container. It adds to the interest, different texture. You're kind of using this lettuce and these other edibles as your textural pieces. So anyway, those are just some ideas of how you can add some color to your garden, your spring containers. Think about doing that with your mother on Mother's Day, perhaps, this upcoming Sunday. Also, free admission for mothers at Green Bay Botanical Garden this weekend. So come on out, bring your mom to Green Bay Botanical Garden, get some ideas, and then go do some plant shopping. For more information, check out our website, gbbg.org, or our Facebook page.